who filed this lawsuit won at the district court, except the one from Texas. We were 6-1, and Sheriff Coog loses. Now, come on. You gotta tell me, how does a sheriff lose a states' rights case about guns in Texas? It must have been the judge that moved here from Chicago. So anyway, Coog lost. But thank goodness this went this way. Sheriff Prince and I are both in the 9th Circuit. You know where that is? Yeah. San Francisco. And it's the most liberal court in America, even more liberal than the court in New York. And they're the most overturned court in America. We lost on appeal. We lost at the 9th Circuit, Prince and I. But Coog and Romero from Louisiana are in the 5th Circuit, which is New Orleans. And they won on the same case. So we have 2 circuit courts, 2 appellate courts, complete opposite rulings on the same issue. And my attorneys came up to me and said, you pretty much got a free trip to Washington, D.C. And sure enough, Sheriff Prince and I appeared at the United States Supreme Court December 4th, 1996. And then the decision was rendered June 27, 1997. In a 5-4 split decision, the United States Supreme Court agreed with us that the federal government has no authority to tell the states to do anything. And I'll tell you the biggest quote in there is this one right here. Quote, state legislatures are not subject to federal direction. Don't you wish your state legislature knew that? Yeah. Well, remember the little tool? And whoever's here from a city council, if the state legislature is not subject to federal direction, do you think you are? And of course not. How about the county commission? They're subject to federal direction, right? Scalia clarified that too. He said the states or their political subdivisions or the officers of the political subdivisions are not subject. Okay? It would be completely meaningless to say, oh yeah, the state legislature is not subject to federal direction, but the cities and counties are. I mean, that's ridiculous. Of course not. And then he comes up with this thing, quote, but the Constitution protects us from our own best intentions. Folks, that comes from the United States Supreme Court. Would you like other people to see that? Yeah. How about everybody in government, and how about all your neighbors and anybody who wants to get into this? And now, we're going to get into this, and I'm going to show you the evidence. Okay? None of this stuff is my own creation. It's all plagiarized. I guess I can plagiarize some of it because it's my case. Okay? But I'm just the messenger here. And I so appreciate all of you being here to see this for yourself. And now your duty after this is more work. My dear friends, we must do more. All of us. As much as Sheriff Box is doing, he has to do more. And if you're with him on it, he can. I commit to you to do more. I don't know when I'm going to get the time, but I'm going to do it. I work 12 to 15 hours every day. I have no days off, ever. The last day off I had was Christmas, okay? And I worked all the rest of the time. I did take a little bit, I took about a half day off on New Year's, and I watched a couple of football games, and that was it. And now, okay, let's go to the next one. See if that can play. Let's test the sound on that.
You know what you think about when you're lying here? You know you're gonna die, and you think, that's all right. You lived a long time. You had a family that loved you. You had a job that you thought made a difference, that you thought was honorable. And then you see this. I'm afraid if I take any deeper, no one's gonna like what I find. You took an oath. If you recall, when you first came to work for me, And I don't mean to the National Security Advisor of the United States. I mean to his boss. And I don't mean the president. He gave you word to his boss. You gave your word to the people of the United States. Your word is who we are.